In creating the world, God limited God's self for the sake of our freedom. God committed to working with us and for us by working through us, not around us or apart from us. So if God is going to repair the world, it will have to be an inside job. And this is actually the big reveal of what God did in Jesus Christ, in coming to be among us as one of us to begin this work of salvation from the inside, honoring human freedom and acting at the same time by suffering and dying for the world sacrificially. So if the world is going to become more just, and if people of all kinds are to flourish, it will be because we have not robbed God of God's divine economy. See? And not only that, but we will not have robbed God of the freedom to act on our behalf, too, in the divine economy. God wants to bless you, people. God wants to open the windows of heaven and pour out an overflowing blessing. But you have the power to restrain God's blessing. On the other hand, God, if you free God to do so, God will outgive you in abundant ways, and I don't just mean money. This is not a prosperity gospel. It's a gospel of adequacy for everyone. So let's be practical about what this means. How should you give? There are certain things I can say I believe are ways all of us should give out of a sense of duty and obligation to God. But it's one thing to say, let's not be robbers. It's another thing to say, how can we be generous? The first step is not to rob. The second is to be generous. See? And some of you have taught me a great deal about this over time. And it has taken a long time to learn. People like my parents, and some of you who have less than I, some of you who have more than I, but who have shown me something about how to give. I'll give you just simply my testimony today along with Kim's, and then you have to figure out your path. First, Kim and I give 10% of our gross income to the church. We think of it as the distribution warehouse through which all kinds of good things happen. We don't have time or expertise to evaluate every good work going on in the community and in the world, but we trust this congregation to do that. And so we start there. This is what Malachi says to do. And so we begin that way, and our new unified budget approach even reinforces that more. The tithe, though, should be a starting point, not a finish line for us. For some of you, it seems a long way off right now. But don't make that the end game. See that as a jumping off point to where the fun really starts. Tithing simply helps you get there. If you use as a rule of thumb, tithe, that is, give 10%, save 10%, and live on 80%. That works for most of us. And then if you have much more, you can start whittling away at that 80% too. See? We get in trouble the moment we choose to live on 100%, as if there's no tomorrow. And worse than that, if we live on more than we take in. Debt is slavery, it's not freedom. God is about freedom. But I have learned that doing your duty doesn't change you or the world very much. Generosity that comes from love is what really makes changes. It's what really gives us joy. And so we give to capital campaigns and other special offerings inside the church and outside of it, over and above the tithe, because this is where the real progress is made. It's where you start feeling it. Sometimes I give willingly, and sometimes I have to tell you I give more because of the need of someone I love, even if I would rather not. That's just the nature of things. Next, I give to institutions that have nurtured me if there is any way I can believe in their continuing mission. So I give to my high school, my college, and now some divinity schools of my choice. I also give to any organizations whose boards I serve on. And finally, I try to give to anyone who asks me to, even if it's only a little. So here's the deal. If you come to me and are passionate about the cause of eliminating forever the problem of whooping cough in squirrels, I'm going to give to you. If you ask, I'm going to give. Because it's not about so much what the cause is, it's about the cause of becoming a generous person, about trying to find ways to say yes, not no to things. And I think it's only fair, since I ask you for money all the time, so I want you to say yes to me, right? You know. I tell you, I have regretted many things I have spent money on in my life, but I've never regretted money I've given. How about you? The question I would ask you today is this. What kind of person do you want to become? If you want to become a generous person, there's only one way there. You actually have to be generous.